Sorry about that, guys. PS4 has yet to keep yourself from being taken off of YouTube. So let's go through some stuff here. Yeah. Yep. I'm streaming, man. So yeah, good to see you here, Chidor. So, all right, we're waiting for a chirper. So we'll see if we can get going with that. We can discuss some theory fighting. Waiting for the fellow Ryu main to see if we can get this going. Hope everybody's good during the holiday season on top of that too, so we're patiently waiting. So I'm waiting for Chirper so we can discuss some theory fighting and whatnot, so oh yeah. We'll talk about a little bit of theory fighting, yeah. All right, so good to see you, man. Good to see you here. All right, man. So, what matches would you like to look at and discuss here while we're here? Would you like to talk about battle lounge stuff, casual matches, ranked matches? What did you probably want to look at? Okay, so let's see what is happening. So, okay, so get a good rundown of what's going on. Alright, so what we're going to do is I'm going to cut on the keyframes, and I'm also cut on the frame data. Let's see what we did here. So he started off with a crouching medium punch to make space, and he's doing that. So that's forward medium punch, which is +2 on block. Space. Good on your part for throwing a fireball. And you weren't ready. That's already an issue right there. You weren't ready for that. So let's look at that again. Fireball. And then because of the fact that he's wanting to fight you for your range, he jumped. So you have to be ready to either do a standing heavy kick, some type of anti-air, or just straight up DP. Okay, let's look at that frame trap again. So 1, 2, 3. And I think you might have been able to get a top 2. Okay, so you got out of that. And then a fireball. Go your part with the grab. I probably would have went for a DP, but it is what it is. So right here, let's look at that exchange. So +1. He's walking. Right here, I'm going to show you something here. So he got that in. So let's look at what he did here. And he's walking. Right there is where you can take the ground from it. So because you're out of his range, he's going to fight to obtain that range again. So let's look at that again. So you got his range, and he's going to get right there in the mid range, and it's going to do a particular hit. So he did that. Exactly what I said he was going to do. So he did forward medium punch. So he's doing what he can to keep that particular distance, so you're not able to fight back. See how he's doing it? He's hitting you at that mid-range point. And then he was able to do that. So let's look at that again. So he was doing somewhat of a fake frame trap because of the factor that you're not in range. He went on ahead and did the heavy what they call the heavy stab. And he's trying to get that on here. So good on your part, Boris. Wake up. Fireball. Okay. And he's doing that. So look at what he's doing. Once again, he's fighting for space. 1, 2. So he's going to do anything he can to try to fight for that space. You could have either somewhat backdash to get start off a reset, so therefore he would do something completely wild, or basically doing what he's doing there to get that. So let's get even further. So that. 1, 2, 3, 4 says 223 for damage. And trying to figure out what happened with that exchange there. Okay, and then did that. I would have actually stayed there after that the standing light punch, because of the factor he did the backflip at that point. Even if you were out of range, they usually players like Vega, Cammy, Karin, they'll dash out of your particular frame traps to catch you off guard. So you still would have had the advantage if you went on a hit. Did that against Sabab, and then back out and wait for him to land, and then you went for a heavy punch. At that point, he was already at the advantage, because you're going for a heavier attack, and that's why he scored. So let's do that again. So that. So look at your frames and look at his. Yeah, you were mad negative. When they do a reset like that, they're trying to catch you at a disadvantage so that you will miss or whiff your next attack. It'd been more appropriate if you actually went on ahead and did a standing medium punch. So back throw, so he's gonna be at advantage. You hit a button, so he got delay tech off of you. Let's see what we're gonna do next. So he's gonna walk in, walk back out, and then you whiffed an attack out of panicking. Right there, he went on ahead and did that Barcelona dive. I think there is a way of getting out of that. We'll have to lab that out. Okay, good on your part. Good read. So let's see what happens here. So let's see how it unfolds.
Round 2. Fight.
So let's look at that again. So look at your range. You went for an EX Fireball at the very beginning when you kind of wanted to go ahead and give yourself some type of space in between there. So he's dashing to, because look at it again. Look at everything he's doing. He's doing everything he can to keep you at that particular range. Okay? He's doing everything he can to keep you at the range. So he's going to try to keep cutting you off and keep cutting you off and keep cutting you off. So he doesn't have, when he doesn't have his claw on, it's game time. And you weren't ready. That's actually fake as well too. Yeah, they train your eye on that one there too, but he was far away. But if they're doing it up close, you can actually crush count him from doing that. So let's see what happened here. So that, and because of the fact that you were going for a fireball, what you should do, especially in this matchup, is fake the fireball. So like do like a quarter circle forward, or like a crouch, or something, and whiff an attack. And then just by the time the opponent gets bedazzled by what you're doing, they're going to jump, and then you can get that down for a medium punch. But you went for a fireball. So he's plus 17. He's plus 3 off of that. Then that's that fake move. Because if you look at the frames, that yeah, he's negative. Let's see once again. You could have got a little more and then jab. Okay. Nope. I would have went for something much more optimal. Yeah, you kind of, because you want to get make some space to get out that corner. So standing medium punch, crouching medium punch, and that should have been EX Jodan Sokutugeti. I remember Alex telling you something about this a while ago. So you would have got that, and then been able to get out the corner just as much too, because you would have had Oki if you did the Tatsu. So you woke up with the jab, and he did that. Okay, you retaliated and challenged it. Let's see. I probably would have went for standing light punch. A frame trap instead, maybe? Okay, I wouldn't have did a fireball at that point either. Don't know why you went back in the corner either. I wouldn't have dashed back. Yeah, I think you're doing a little bit too much in this fight already, for what I'm already looking at, because I wouldn't have dashed back on him, especially if I had the advantage. Looking at how you did this here. Yeah, a dash back wasn't necessary. One. So you were trying to open him up with a shimmy at that point, but keep in mind you didn't condition him. Didn't see not one throw come out yet. And plus he has a somewhat subtle health lead, so he's not going to do anything out of panic. You really didn't do anything that would oppose any kind of pressure or threat The only way that a shimmy would work is if you have threatened the opponent by doing something, or if you have conditioned the opponent with particular grabs, and you didn't do either or. Yeah, that one went for the fireball either. Yeah, you might want to practice that in the lab if they're doing it at point-blank range instead of throwing the fireball. Because that rolling crystal flash, which is the old school term for anybody who plays Street Fighter, that's invincible. So you could have either did a normal attack to stuff it, or you could have did, hey Punk, good to see you, brother. You could have did that, or a DP. So let's do that again. Yeah, the X fireball was a bad choice. So now you got space again. And look how he's throwing it out there. Look at that. Look how he's throwing out the attack. So this is your opportunity to take back your ground. So it's now your turn. 1, 2. So look at the pushback that's on that move. So from that, he's going to want to fight to get that space back. Now that you guys are at a wider space, I want you to look at that. I want you to really look at that. Look at that again. Look at that ginormous pushback. Okay? That's a lot of pushback. That'd be an opportune time for you to get your positioning back. So he's just whipping. He's wish punishing is what I would call it. And he dashed right in. You weren't ready. That, and they're going to do something to see if I catch you off guard. They're going to whiff an attack, dash, or jump to see how you're going to react to that. You didn't do either of the above. And he's -9 on that dash, so that means you have more than enough time to do a standing medium punch, crouching up or uppercut into Tatsu. Yeah. And right here, yeah, they love doing that. Each and every time, they love doing that. So there's a way of getting past that. So if they manage to do that on you, you will lay there. Do not. One thing that most of Vegas are going to do, even at pro level, they are going to wake up with the EX Barcelona attack. So just exactly what he did, and he hit you with an E of it because that has an upper hitbox invincibility when you stand up, and he was able to land that. That's why you lost. You were nervous. You were very nervous and not accustomed to that fight. So let's see what happens in this next fight.
Final round. Fight.
So here, you did that. Okay, right there. That's a no-no. Don't let Vega get away with that. This is mad negative. So right here, he's -14. That means you have just enough time to react with a standing medium punch, or in this case, a standing light kick. If you do standing medium punch, you can actually link that into a MK Tatsu. Don't let Vega get away with that at point blank range. He is -14. That means you have more than enough time to do what you need to do there. And his recovery is mad negative. So don't ever let Vega get away with that. This is why it's important when you go into the lab and see what things you can do and what things you can't do against particular opponents, because they're going to get away with this stuff. Do not ever let Vega get away with that again. Good on your part. Okay, good check. That's what I've been looking for. As soon as they walk into your space, check them. So that one should have been double jab. Thanks, Punk J. I appreciate it, brother. I see you're putting in work with pocket. Okay, I see you. I see you. Okay, so here. Thank you, man. So right there, it's a good check on that. So watch that again. And sometimes it's good to look at what the opponents are doing as far as they're walking. Yeah, don't let them get too comfortable. That was a good check. Although you didn't get an extra confirm off of that, but good check. So that could have been a jab Tatsu, or that could have been a jab low kick LK Tatsu. You know, something to think about. So that fireball. So good job getting out of range of that, because you're making him fight for it. You went a little too early on the hit. You probably could have went for a standing, or not, either a standing medium punch or possibly a crouching medium punch. Yeah, don't let him walk in your kitchen like that. Yeah, he just was just trying to intimidate you. That's all he was doing. He didn't do anything in terms, from what I'm looking at in this fight overall, Chirper, is that he's basically just dictating the pace. He's taking your entire ground all together. He's walking in, walking in, walking in. That's all he's doing. That's all he's doing. He's overtaking your space. That's what he's trying to do. And it worked. And it worked in his. Tamux, you're very welcome. Thank you for even stopping by. I'm not doing this for any kind of particular content or anything like that. I'm just trying to help out and give back to the community, man. I'm no name nobody, man, but I appreciate you for even that response. So thank you so very much, Mux. So let's look at this again. So yeah, right there. Don't let him get away with that. Do not let Vega ever again get away with that. Just Fog was one of the first people I've seen that about 4 years ago. And I never forgot it on how to counter that. So there's that pushback. Yep, you did it again. You did it again because you weren't ready. You gotta lab that roller crystal flash. Let's look at that again. 1, 2, 3. So he's out of range. And he waited for you to do something. And you took the lead. And that's where he whip punished you. That's the frame traps I was telling you guys about beforehand. There are particular frame traps. When you're doing frame traps, you're gathering data. You're gathering data, or you're creating space while gathering this data to see if the opponent is going to do something very sporadic or crazy. Like if this person wanted to do a heavy sweep kick, if this person wanted to jump at you because they're trying to fight and dictate that pace, or to regain that space or that momentum. This is why that Vega is winning. He dictated the pace. He dictated his pace and his space. Look at what he's doing. Now he's just swinging for the fences. And he's just keeping you. He's right there. He's 11 in recovery. You have a move that is a startup of 6, which is crouching medium punch because of the extended hitbox, or you could have did a crouching medium kick to do that. So when they're throwing moves like that, it's best that you're catching them in the recovery frames. He's negative 11 in recovery. You should have took advantage of that. Don't let him just do whatever, because it's like you're just standing there like a deer in headlights. I've sometimes had that problem myself, but don't let the opponent just do whatever they want to do. It's very imperative that you take advantage when these opponents are doing these wild, erratic behaviors, because if you don't, they'll get away with stuff like this. They will get away with stuff like this. When you start whiff punishing, when you start countering, and when you start actually understanding what the opponent is doing to you, then you can start winning. But because you have a level of uncomfortability in this match, and it's okay, because this is why we're here. This is why the opponent is getting away with that. So good on your part. Good mix up. That should have been crouching light punch or crouching light kick. You went for double light kick. That one. I'm thinking because you're a counter hit, you could have went crouching light kick into crouching light punch into DP. Since he's on the ground, or in this case, crouching light kick, crouching light punch into donkey kick. So keep that in mind as well too. So fireball after that. Ah, you waited. You waited. I think another thing you're having a problem is that your reactions. Yeah, you're just standing there. You're just kind of like, hey, look what he's doing. I didn't recover in time. Dang it. That's exactly what you did there. So it was like you did that, and you anticipated a neutral jump, which I can't say I blame you. But then you did that, and then you weren't ready, and it was just like, hey, watch the birdie, yay! Yeah, that's basically what he did. So he got away with murder. You got nervous. I'm telling you that much right now. You got very nervous. Yeah, man. You had the jitters, brother. You had the jitters. So right there, he did that. Yep, you weren't ready for the dash in either. You gotta take advantage of those dash-ins. Yeah, and he's just whipping. He's just look at all that space. He's negative 10 again. That dash is so negative. He's throwing out a move to keep you in standstill, and if you're sitting there watching, he's gonna dash and he's gonna do this. Take your space. Okay, so we're getting down to the wire. Okay, good check. I'm thinking if you could have did Tatsu, maybe. But I think you waited too long. Because he wasn't in enough hit stun for you to do that. Honestly, you've been better off. If that is the case, you should have. Ooh, honestly, this is what you should have did. So we're gonna look at this again. So you got the throw. So you got 150 damage. Or in this case, 135. Back throw is really, in essence, it's 135. But in this game, for some reason, the closer you get down to the critical health, the damage scales, which is odd. But anyways, so that, okay, and you dash in. I want you to start checking those dash-ins. Okay, he did that. He's walking, taking his space. So you did that. Right there, you should have did an EX fireball into V trigger activation, and then while that Vega was still in midair, you could have did a juggle after that dash into a heavy punch DP. Honestly, it was your uncomfortability. It was your lack of understanding the tools that you have with your character, and because of the fact that you did not combo confirm. Your biggest weaknesses right now is, I will say this, hesitation. Too defensive at a point. Defense is good, but at a point in time, you have to learn how to alternate. But don't cut it off. So hesitation. You're kind of lacking in the reaction department. Uncomfortable with the character. And the uncomfortability can go in different roads. It can go in different branches. Your uncomfortability because of the fact that you weren't acknowledged, or the fact that you didn't know that you didn't use a standing medium punch on that move that's 14. There are a lot of things I see players let a lot of other characters get away with. For instance, Birdie. Birdie does his V trigger 2 on activation. The not Pepper Time, but I think it might be Pepper Time. V trigger 2. When he activates it and you're on block, he is -21. Solar plexus is behind. Hit him with a solar plexus. Hit him with your hardest hitting move in between that time interval. You have all the time in the world to do that. This is why that labbing is important. CFN, the frame app, and all the above that's out there, these are sources that you guys have to start using. This stuff is very important. And ask questions. Ask questions. You got to take advantage of this stuff. So yeah, that would have been over with right there. But you did a V trigger activation and you nullify or negate it, your opportunity to take out the opponent. See, that was on you at that point. And then here, it was painfully obvious that he's gonna go for that. It'd be a good idea for you to start practicing how to parry that deadly rose, because it'll be like 1, 2, 3, and then he's open. So that's something you want to start getting in practice of. Learn to utilize that parry. A lot of people look at the parry as just being like a MDZ Jimmy thing or something like that. No, the parry actually has its fundamental uses like anything else. You actually have to practice it. Like the other day I played against Akage, Rama Aztec or something I think it was. Played him, and for the first time ever I parried his V-Trigger 2, which is arguably one of the better V-Triggers that are in the game. Because the fact that he can get OTS, or off the ground, excuse me, punishment, and so forth, and a lot of people were kind of like fearful of that. Ryu may be average at best, but it's time that you utilize his tools immensely. So that, and you did it again. You're not comfortable with rolling a Crystal Flash. That's dead and dead in front of you. Because when you start getting comfortable, you won't be nervous or panicky. So right there, we'll go back in it again. So you're doing that. So he did that. You could have actually tried to shimmy at that point. So standing medium punch, walk back away, and he would have whipped that. Trust me. Or for the fact that, because remember, crouching medium punch is +3 on block when you're in V trigger 1. You could utilize that as well too, and you let go of your pressure because you weren't comfortable. Yep, you let it happen again. You did it again. You weren't ready. That, or you could have reacted by doing a jump medium punch. Remember, that's Ryu's go-to tool, especially in the Vega matchup, as well as M. Bison. A DP, something. Right there, you could have did a since you ran out of Raikou, you could have utilized the low punch fireball, and then that Vega, I guarantee, would have jumped, and you could have tagged it with a standing heavy kick. Let's look at that, with a standing heavy kick and a DP. So let's see what happens. You got way too much space. There's all that space in the world that you guys are having. All that. Yep. He did double dash. So he's desperate. See, and then right there, most of them will do that tick. They will do that tick hit instead of coming in for a throw. Tick hit, and they're automatically going to wait, and they're going to dragon punch. So you could have dragon punched him. You could have jumped, did a double chamber punch in midair, which is the medium punch in midair. Yeah, you just weren't ready, and he shimmied you. Yeah, it's pretty much over at this point. Yeah, I can tell by where it was going. Yeah, you were very nervous. You were very panicky. Too much hesitation. Not enough understanding about what was going on with the opponent. Not understanding or dictating your spaces. Not understanding what you could have done to take over, and it was basically altogether a lack of preparation. To be honest, to be totally honest, it was lack of preparation, and that's something that you have to do. You gotta. I know people say we have to go to battle lounges, but you go to battle lounge to get data. You go to casuals to get data. You go to rank to get data. When you are getting that data and you're still getting popped by something, it is your responsibility with this character, win, lose, or draw, regardless if this character is weak or not. It is your responsibility to go into CFN and see what was negative, or to look in your frame assistant, that which everybody has on their phone, possibly, I could be wrong, or to go into battle lounge, not battle lounge, but go into training, recreate that scenario, and see what you can do to fight against that with your character. You gotta stop letting characters get away with things that are not real. So that is where you faulted at. This is actually on you for a lack of preparation. So let's see what happens next. So is there another fight that we need to look at? Because that Vega pretty much will be the same blueprint that you would need against the upper level ones. No problem, brother. No problem. You gotta prepare for this stuff. That's it. Okay. Gotcha. So you fought him a lot in that one there too. Yeah, that's basically the blueprint of it all. You have to really be prepared. I'll take this to training mode.
Training.
We're gonna go into training mode, and we're gonna create these particular scenarios. And Mux, I thank you again, man. Wisdom and knowledge, understanding are very key, and you perish for lack of knowledge, man. And this stuff is very important, and I thank you for that. So let's see here. That's fine. This is all learning. This is all learning.
Vega.
I'll show you the epitome of beauty.
Okay. So we are going to go and make him do his heavy jab, which is a forward heavy punch. So we're going to make Vega do that. Dummy. And do action. And we're going to do Freudian slap. We can do that. So let's do this. We're going to do different spaces. That. Okay, and then we're going to do where they get really sloppy. That. Alright, so we'll go to the first one. See that? Don't let him get away with that. Do not let him get away with that. So they're gonna abuse that. So that's where you walk in. So take your space. Always take your space. That. That. Always take your space when they're doing that. That, or you can punish this way. Or you can punish this way. Yeah, do not let him get away with. This is called Buster Claw. Do not let him get away with Buster Claw. You need a new crouch medium punch at this point too. So it won't reach as far as that, but you can do that though off of that heavy kick. Yeah, it's all about getting these ranges together, guys. Do not let him get away with this stuff at all. Do not. So standing, if they're close up, you can do that. But if they're from that medium or furthest range, you have to be careful. Usually, the best option is to land that with standing heavy kick because you get, not only get the opportunity to do that, but you'll also get Oki and then be able to mix up the plane. But the further that they are out, it's best to use a heavy kick. Yep, whip punish as well too. And speaking of which, I'm gonna show you guys something. And welcome to the chat, Alex. I see what you're talking about too, brother. So, I'll show you guys something here. We're gonna set the dummy to guard all. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna do particular frame traps. This is what I was talking about. You can fool the opponent by doing particular frame traps and not fall victim to the shenanigans. So what that is, what I'm doing here, so let's do this again. So I got that there, so that's what I needed. So you'll go back to playback recording, and you'll set it to dummy. You'll set it to guard all. 1, 2, 3. So you're out of range out of that. So 1, 2, 3. Get out of the way. Go back to dummy. Playback settings to what I had beforehand. So they're gonna launch that move. So this is basically a measuring, like almost like a measuring stick, to see what the opponent is gonna do from that point. So now that we know Buster Claw is from that max range, from that position, we're gonna try to whip punish it. So your frame traps are what's important. Right there. Back out. Back out. That too. That too. You can hit it from that far too. So they have extended hurt boxes too, even from that distance. So you can either do standing heavy punch, crouching uppercut. Yeah, just don't let them get away with nonsense. Don't just let them get away with that stuff. Make them pay for doing that. Make them pay always for doing that. So that's not going to work. Maybe if you do contingent ranking, that kind of works. Two. B-Boss, welcome to the stream, brother. Hope you're good. So now, that's part of whip punishing. Whip punishing is essential for that point. And another thing that we were talking about, I'm going to make this Vega do the rolling crystal flash, so we're gonna set that up. Okay, we're gonna make him do that. So you need to learn to be comfortable in this setting. You stop midway. That too. So if you did that, you can do that. So he's invincible at the active frames of that. Dragon punch. Challenge it. Challenge it. It is -2. So if you happen to do that, challenge it to -2. So if you see that, you can parry it. So if you see this from far. So it's 1, 2. So it's a pattern. 1, 1, 2. So his active frames are very invincible at the beginning of that. Axe kicking. So you have to worry about sacrificing frames. Medium punching. I like the axe kick left to the left. Damn. So if you know they're doing it from that distance, you can parry it. If you got any kind of distance, you can parry this up. Yep. So that's part of that. So we're going to also make him do the V trigger. So we'll cut that off. And action recording settings. So what I'm going to do is make him go in the corner. So we're going to recreate that scenario. Okay. So we're going to make him do that. We're going to make him do that one. And we're also going to make him do the jump version. Okay. So cut the playback settings back on. So it's 1, 2. So it's 1, 2. So it's 1, 2. Right distance. So it's 1, 2, 3. So it's pattern 1. So the frame window is a little tighter. See that? The closer he is, the tighter it is. There you go. Further that he is, it's a little easier to catch on to. The closer he is, it's tighter. There you we go. And then we do the upper version of it. Recreate what he was doing. Yep. Most of the time they're going to get in that corner. They're going to get you in the corner. So what I'll do is I'll make him go back. I'll use my right analog stick to make him go in that trajectory. Now I'll make him do it. So you can use your right analog stick to control the opponent, by the way, guys. So punish him. That was my bad on that, not punishing him at that point, but you guys get the gist of that. So it's just about being comfortable. When you start being comfortable, and start seeing what these opponents are doing, a lot of this stuff is not real, and honestly, we got to point the finger at ourselves as players for not being prepared. It's like I had these conversations with a fellow Ryu mains, or couple brothers that we have in the chat, and you know, regardless of how bad or how strong or how weak your character is, you at the end of the day are responsible for what you're doing. It's almost like you're signing a promissory note. You know, we know what Ryu is weak with. We know what difficulties this character has to deal with, but it's up to us to be creative. It's up to us to have the exploration. And, you know, at a point, stop blaming the game for everything when you have to blame yourself as a player for not putting in the work. You got to really put in the work. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm talking a big game because I can lose like anybody else, but I will be humble enough to admit it and have the courage to say I don't know everything either. But this is why I do what I do, so therefore I can increase in my knowledge. I'm an old school Ryu main through and through. I'm keen on my basics, but now I'm trying to up my level in understanding, especially with this game, because this game is brutal. Brutally honest, brutal in terms of you not taking advantage of what you're doing with your character. You just can't do certain things and then expect the same end result. You have to understand knowledge, frame data, spacing, all the above. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna show you guys something else too. So we're gonna go to character select, and this will be the last thing I'll do with you guys here shortly, because I myself have to get going here myself in a little bit. But I hope you guys have learned something by this stuff thus far. This stuff is very important, very, very important. So with Ryu, get that.
Ryu
will be on the battle.
Let's see here. Let's say we got
Lara.
Let me zap you.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is go into recording settings. I'm going to make Laura do a standing heavy kick. Now, what I'm going to do is go back to the playback settings to set up for dummy. This is about basic whip punishing. 101. So you're doing certain frame traps in order to create the space between yourself and the opponent. Now that I've done that, I'm going to make this Laura do that move. That's how you know that when you're out of range. That range. All of them use that move. When she do that, she's negative. Recovery. Heavy recovery. Heavy recovery. Heavy recovery. Yeah, don't just let them do moves. Heavy recovery. Heavy recovery. Or use it again. It don't just have to be that frame trap. It could be out of the way. They're either going to jump, heavy recovery, all the above. This is how you start dictating your spacing. You just don't let the opponent just do any old thing. Yeah, she's negative for days. So this stuff is important. So I hope this all makes sense. Your frame data, frame traps, you're gathering data analysis, all the above. You're not just doing things over and over. You don't get tunnel vision. You don't do the same moves to try to score this and that. That's not the way it works. You can't have tunnel vision, or in this case, you can't flowchart, where you do a sequence of things without mixing up your pressure, without mixing up all the above. So this stuff is important. So you say I've been learning Sakura from CeeLo's and other top ranks. That's good. Hey Edwin, how you doing, brother? So yeah, man, but definitely, most definitely, this stuff is important. Don't just let these opponents get away with this stuff. Like I can't stress this enough. Like, stop letting them get away with this. Oh, it's Laura. Oh, she's so this. Oh, it's like Idom. Oh, da, 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 da. Oh, this person. Oh, da, 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 da. You gotta learn to get comfortable. You can't. And another thing I'm gonna tell you guys, stop allowing, because I almost got into a point where I allowed this stuff to happen. Rank don't mean nothing. Rank doesn't mean anything. And I had to take a breather when I say this. Rank doesn't mean anything. The biggest thing that a good friend of mine told me was that no matter what you do in this game, the most important thing that a player cannot do is take away your skill and your knowledge. They can't do that. When you have those two fundamental things as well as your fundamentals, you'll win a majority of your fights. You have to elevate what you know based off your fundamentals and then exceed abundantly off of that. You can't flowchart. You can't do the same sequences, especially that work. So if this person, for instance, so yes it does. Yes it does. Whatever. You suck. Yeah. Whatever. But anyway, so let's say this. You did. We're gonna make this Laura do a grab, right? Okay. So we generally go for the old okey doke, standing light punch, delay tech grab, right? That don't work, right? So what we do is we get out the way of that sucker. You give them something to think about. This is why you mix up and gather data. When you know that they are already tech throw, they are delay teching. So that means it's open season. Or micro walk. So she has heavier recovery. This is gathering your data. Don't just do the same stuff over and over. Or, since you're already out of range. But then what if this happens? So then this opponent decides to, let's do set guard recovery actions. We're gonna do the, let's try standing light kick, right? So since that's her next fastest attack. Okay. Let's say that they're knowing that you are flowcharting, right? See? Standing medium punch is only +1. So that means your frames have to be tighter. that's where you can do that. It's all about dictating the space. Now, another thing that they'll do, especially with Laura, is this. Because they're gonna mash that jab. I'm telling you guys this, they're gonna mash that jab, right? Set guard recovery. Cut that on. So now, I got interrupted because it's only plus one on block. This is why you have the player base playing the way that they do. So now that you have formulated your flow chart, and this person now knows that you're going to go for delay tech, you can actually beat it on the outside instead of actually being that up close. Because sometimes against particular grapplers, you want to be right outside their proximity. And or, if that is the case, you get interrupted, but you'll only be trading. So what you do is tighter frame traps. Standing light punch, medium punch, and to kick. Or so you're dancing with the opponent, you're overtaking their space. Laura is like a hybrid, well actually not even semi, more aggressive and agile form of a grappler. So you'll have to learn how to go, you have to learn to go stick and move. So these are things you think about when you're doing frame traps. You're not just pressing buttons to press buttons. And I think many people get that mixed up. You don't just press buttons to press buttons. There is a reason why you are hitting a button. There is a reason why you're demonstrating such moves. There is a reason why you're doing particular special moves. You're not doing them just for the sake of keeping space between yourself and the opponent, which is all a part of footsies, but at the same time you're creating a layer or the illusion that the opponent has the advantage over you, and then they come in for the kill and it's over with for them. That's just as much part of your defense than anything. The illusion, the deception, that's a part of your frame traps. Much more than just pressing buttons. Alright, you guys, so that is it for me today. You guys take care. Have a great one. I hope and pray you guys have a safe holiday season. And that's about it. You guys take care of each other. See ya.